Red Sox Spring Training Baseball on NESN is brought to you by Fubo. Live TV and sports without cable. Try it free at FuboTV.com. This afternoon, the Red Sox play host to the Tampa Bay Rays here at JetBlue Park in Fort Myers. Hello, everyone. Tom Karen, Will Middlebrooks, Jemai Webster bringing you the call today. A day that began with bad news for the Red Sox. Lucas Giolito, signed as a free agent starting pitcher in the offseason, has been shut down with elbow discomfort.
It hasn't been fun to deal with, but at the same time, it's kind of like a fluid situation. There's working with the medical staff here, and then obviously, you go into the next steps with second opinions and things like that. So that's kind of what we're working through now. Once we have more information, then obviously we go from there, but that's kind of where we're at.
What's your timeline for those next steps? Will you go and see somebody, or they're just sharing kind of some of the imaging?
Yeah. So, I'm working with, obviously, the trainers and doctors here. Then, obviously, kind of like looking at all that, potentially going out, sharing it, and figuring out, like, the best course of action moving forward with all that.
Yeah, so, this is a gut punch for the clubhouse, for the fans. Not only are you possibly losing that number one starter, but you're losing a workhorse. This guy has logged 184 innings last year, 161, 178. You see the list. You see all the numbers. You're going to need some guys to really step up here because the Red Sox have had issues working deep in the games. That's been a big problem. Need some guys to step up, especially today's starter, Garrett Whitlock.
Now, you mentioned the 184 innings. No Red Sox starter came close to that last year. They'll need the young starters to make that next step forward, including Garrett Whitlock, who'll make his third start of the spring. Expected to go 50 pitches or so. We'll be joined by Chief Baseball Officer Craig Breslow in the broadcast with the latest. But next, it's the first pitch from Fort Myers here on NESN. TV and sports without cable. Try it free at FuboTV.com. By Bigelow tea, the official hot tea of the Boston Red Sox. And by BuyAToyota.com. For offers not seen on TV, visit BuyAToyota.com. Tom Karen, Will Middlebrooks, Jemai Webster with you. A sunny afternoon again here in Fort Myers, Florida, but dark clouds on the horizon when Alex Cora sat down with us earlier today. We'll be talking about the Lucas Giolito news throughout the afternoon. We'll be joined, as we said, by Craig Breslow in just a little bit. We'll try to get the latest on that. Meantime, Garrett Whitlock getting ready to face the Tampa Bay Rays. Take a look at the lineup here for the Tampa Bay Rays. It is Jose Caballero leading off. Aranda will be the second baseman. Ramirez in right. Shenton at first base. Caminero is the third baseman. Jose Siri in center field. Jackson, the designated hitter. Mangum in left field. And it'll be Rob Brantley the catcher today. Take a look at the Red Sox starting pitcher. It's brought to you by buyatoyota.com. Garrett Whitlock, one of the pitchers who is going to have to step up now as another spot in the rotation becomes available. He's making his third start of the spring. You see the numbers from last season. He's given up a run in each of his first 2 starts. 5 innings, 2 earned runs total. They've been talking a lot about the work on his changeup, how much that means to the fastball, but also the shaping of his third pitch. So far, they're real happy with the results.
All right, let's take a look at the Sox on defense. Rafi Devers at third base, Trevor Story at short, Emmanuel Valdez at second base, Tristan Casas over at first. In the outfield, Tyler O'Neill in left, Jaron Duran in center, Wilyer Abreu over in right. Behind the dish, Connor Wong catching Garrett Whitlock.
All right, we'll take a look at the umpires today as the Red Sox get ready to take on the Rays. Ike Backus is behind home plate. Marvin Hudson is the first base ump. Andy Fletcher at second, and John Libka is the third base umpire. We're available. This telecast can be heard in Spanish by selecting the SAP button on your television remote. SAP brought to you by Toyota Certified Used Vehicles. Underway here at JetBlue Park as Garrett Whitlock throws his first pitch of the afternoon. Talked about that changeup. Talked about the importance of him getting back to where he was in 2021. What have you seen so far this spring as we get a fly ball from Caballero? On the left side, it is Tyler O'Neill under it for the first out of the inning on a gorgeous afternoon. The weather forecast presented by my friends at Window World of Boston, the official replacement window of the Boston Red Sox. I'm a customer. You should be too, and you should be here. 83 degrees, a little bit muggy. Let's get back to Whitlock.
Yeah,
what have you seen so far?
So far, I mean, what we will look at last year. His fastball got hit hard. His changeup got hit pretty hard, which in 2022 was as a complete opposite of what we saw. Now that 2-seamer can flatten out at times, but the big pitch is the changeup, like you said. He doesn't want that thing to run and blend into that 2-seamer. He wants it to work more downward, have more depth. So whether that's a grip change, something with an arm slot, whatever it may be, he wants more depth out of that because it got hit at a 312 clip last season.
When you talk about a starting pitcher, talk about a guy who's got to have 3 pitches. And a lot of talking with some of the analytics people today, and it's been an ongoing thing, helping him shape that third pitch. What would you like to see ultimately be the third pitch for Whitlock?
It's a sweeper for him. That's exactly what it is. And we saw
horizontal break.
Yeah, and we saw it 23% of the time last year, and it was good. 167 batting average again.
There's a ground ball for Aranda. Up with it is Valdez. 2 quick outs now for Whitlock.
So the sweeper's one thing, but then I think obviously his bread and butter is fastball changeup combination, hard 2-seamer that he can. It's not a typical 2-seamer. It doesn't really have much sink. It's more arm side run. So when he throws his changeup, if it gets up to around 85 miles an hour, it tends to flatten out and look like that 2-seamer turned into a BP heater and gets hit around a little bit. When it's lower 80s, it gets more depth, more down action, more ground balls, weak contacts, we can miss.
2 quick outs for the Rays. Take a look. A little blood on the upper side of his right leg there.
Yeah, you worry about fingernail, blister, something like that.
You see it right there below his hand. And that'll be a base hit. 2-out base hit for Harold Ramirez here in the first. The Rays have their first runner aboard.
I'm trying to see if Witt is, looking at it, messing with it. He isn't really doing that other than just a couple times he wiped it on his pants. So I don't think it's bothering him.
Don't see it's spring training. Don't see anybody in the dugout making any sort of motion towards it.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it's clear. Whatever it is, it's bleeding pretty good.
You see the finger and thumb. He was trying to stanch the blood. All right, we'll keep an eye on that. As the cleanup hitter today, Austin Shenton. Fifth-round pick in 2019 by Seattle, was acquired for Diego Castillo and JT Chargois.
You couldn't wait to say that.
I don't do it as well as Dave O'Brien. They got him with Chargois for Diego Castillo. I got excited there to get to Chargois. I think it's Dave O'Brien's favorite name to say during the season. Rip just foul. Tristan Casas diving attempt. It's 1-2 count.
Obi loves to talk anything French. He'll drop a Chianti.
Well, that's Italian.
Yeah, see, that's where I screwed up. See, you know, TC, sometimes you gotta roll with me here.
Stick to lagers.
Stick to lagers and bourbon.
Stick to what you know. He loves to talk French. Chianti.
There's our line of the day. We're at the top of the first.
Didn't take long.
Sweet. Can't wait to read that on Twitter later.
Here's the 1-2 pitch from Whitlock, just high.
The bad part is that I actually knew that because he took the trip to Italy last year.
Right.
And came back talking about his Chiantis, and I just,
Love the attitude Whitlock showed coming into the season. Said, starter reliever, just give me the ball. I'm a Swiss Army knife. Knocked down by Casas. Whitlock is there, and Whitlock works around a base hit in the first. We head to the bottom half of the inning, scoreless here at JetBlue. Back to JetBlue Park at Fenway South. Take a look at the Red Sox starting lineup day. This might be your opening day lineup in Seattle. Jaron Duran leading off, playing center. Rafi Devers, the third baseman. Trevor Story at short. Tristan Casas, the first baseman. Masataka Yoshida, the designated hitter. Tyler O'Neill in left. Wheeler Abreu is the right fielder. Connor Wong behind the plate. And then Manuel Valdez is the second baseman. Starting pitcher for the Rays, Naoyuki Uesawa. Spent last 9 seasons with the Nippon Ham Fighters. Coming over as a free agent, reportedly agreed to a minor league deal with Tampa Bay over other deals from major league teams that were guaranteed major league deals because he was impressed by what they have done with their pitching group over the years and thinks they can help him become even better at the age of 30.
Yeah, and he's really good. I mean, 11 season in the NPB, career 3.42. In the last 2 seasons, he's been under 3 ERA, so he's got good stuff. 90-94 on the fastball, but it plays up because of really high spin rate. So you'll see him pitch at the top of the zone a lot and then throw the split off of that, but it's kitchen sink as well. He throws slider, curveball, cutters, changeup, everything you can think of. He throws it, so he's going to mix speeds a lot.
He does have an out clause at the end of spring training, so a little bit of control there. And he's ahead of Jaron Duran. 1-2 pitch coming, just missing outside. And again, if you're just joining us, the news today, Lucas Giolito, elbow discomfort. No word yet on whether he'll need surgery, but none of it sounds good at the moment. 2-2 pitch, fouled. We'll hear from Jemai Webster in a couple of moments. Jemai was down in the clubhouse this morning. Heard what Giolito had to say. The reaction was, but as soon as Alex Cora sat down with us today, he did not mess around. He said, it's not a good day for us. Got right to it, and you can tell from the tone that this could be a significant injury. just missing inside. 3-2 the count.
Yeah, anytime AC comes in, ahead of when he's supposed to be there and immediately starts to talk to the media, you know something's up.
And again, there have been reports that it is a significant injury, a possible tear, that we could be talking surgery. The team has not yet confirmed any of that, nor has Giolito himself. Hot shot to first base, played there by Shenton, and Duran is retired. But when you start talking about surgery, you start looking at his contract. There's a player option for next year, so that can factor into how quickly you want to move.
Absolutely, and that's the scary part. As an organization, number one, you're losing a workhorse. If the reports are true, if that's end up with torn or partially torn UCLs, normally end up in Tommy John, which this will be his second one. He had one in 2012. And then obviously that player option he's going to pick up. So if you're going to do Tommy John, it feels like the sooner the better, because then at least you get him back in the second half of next season. If you try to rehab it now and let's say June get Tommy John, then you lose him for both seasons.
There he is in the dugout here in the first inning, joining his teammates as Rafi Devers steps up with one down. Devers off to a torrid start. 455 with a couple of home runs.
Yeah, I love the adjustment Rafi's made with his hands. Just simply moving them down. It's a more consistent move, can help him be on time. It's less movement. The less movement as a hitter, especially with that much power, the better.
Fouls this one off the mask of Brantley. He's a catcher. He's tough. He'll stay in there.
He's been around for a while, 34 years old. Seen a lot of miles.
Yeah, interesting situation. Only one catcher on the 40-man roster, and that's Pinto. So it's kind of open auditions for that second spot.
Yeah, Alex Jackson, who's DHing today, just signed Francisco Mejia to a minor league deal, so he's back in the organization. So a little bit of a competition for that second spot.
It's the 1-2 to Devers, swing and a miss. So the first strikeout of the day. And there are two down. Set up the defense behind Uwasawa.
Yeah, here's the Rays on defense. Cabanero at third base. Caballero at shortstop. Aranda at second base. Shenton at first. Mangum in left. Siri in center field. Ramirez in right. Brantley behind the dish for Uwasawa.
So two down now. Trevor Story trying to get his bat going here during the spring. 231, the batting average so far. And take ball one. You talk about the lineup and how this could be the lineup on opening day in Seattle, and so much of it hinges on, can Story be your number 3 hitter? Can he be the right-handed bat that separates Devers and Casas? Let's Yoshida and O'Neill hide there in the middle of the order. All of a sudden you lengthen that lineup.
Yeah, and it's just a matter of getting Rafi pitches to hit with guys in scoring position in big situations in games where teams can't just say, hey, if we don't let Rafi beat us, we're going to be okay. You put some thump behind him to protect him.
Wearing the mic, as you can see there, and he rips this one down the left field side. Trevor Story with the first hit of the day for the Red Sox. A 2-out base hit here in the first.
I thought Trevor made some really good adjustments 2 days ago. His first at bat, he chased a slider down and away, was clearly working to left field. And his next 2 at bats, he hit the ball hard up the middle, got a knock out of it his last at bat. It would have had a 2-run single. Got knocked down by the pitcher, but it's good signs. This is all about adjustments at this point in camp, regaining timing or getting timing, because I don't know if he ever got it last season. So that's good. Loud noise, and he got a barrel right there.
So man on for Tristan Casas, looking for his first hit of the spring. Second meeting of the spring between the Red Sox and the Rays. Sox beat the Rays Saturday in that split squad game up Port Charlotte. 3-2 was the score there. They'll play each other 13 times in the regular season, with a stretch of 7 matchups in 10 days beginning May 13th. There's a lot of that this year. You see a team 13 times, but you see them basically in 2 10-day spans.
I feel like there was a stretch like that with someone last season, too.
Toronto. We had a lot of that with Toronto last year. The 0-2 to Casas. Iwasawa misses down in the dirt.
Yeah, there's that split that is really good. 63% ground ball rate on that pitch last year. So it just has that downward diving action. Really good fastball at the top of the zone. And if you're able to command that split, he can be really good.
Runner goes on the 1-2. Casas drives this one to the right center field gap, but sliding in on a knee to make the catch is Ramirez. And that'll end the inning. We head to the second scoreless here at JetBlue.
Still scoreless between the Red Sox and Rays in the second inning, and TC, you and Will mentioned it at the top of the telecast. Lucas Giolito dealing with some discomfort and pain after his last outing against the Twins on Friday. He told us that's the initial diagnosis. He, of course, hasn't been fun to deal with, he says, but it's a fluid situation. We know ESPN reporting that he could miss the 2024 season. Giolito says they are working with the medical staff and trainers here. They'll gather a second opinion and figure out the best course of action forward. But no doubt, guys, a gut punch to the Red Sox pitching plans as they go into this season with Giolito's ability to pitch consistently late into games.
Yeah, Jamal, I think that's exactly it. The biggest thing you lose, in addition to a guy who's had great success, was a guy getting Cy Young votes just a couple years ago, but a guy who managed to go 6+ innings almost every time he took the ball.
Which
they have not had those
exactly,
guys.
which we just didn't see much from Red Sox pitching last year. So, and I think a lot of people's mind goes, well, what's next? Or now are they all in on Montgomery? Or is it the complete opposite? Or are they thinking, never mind on adding, because you're not adding to Giolito, you're trying to replace him with someone else you're already paying. So it's got to figure out what's next.
You look at that graphic and those innings that were up there, and there wasn't a Red Sox starter who matched that inning last year at all. You're talking about 173, 161 was the low back in 2022. Yeah, Red Sox, I don't think had anybody at 160.
Cutter Crawford was at 153. Yeah.
Bayo was 157, I believe, was the most on the staff. So you're talking about 27 innings short of what Giolito gave you last year, as Whitlock will get Caminero here to begin the second inning. Caminero, one of the top prospects in all of Major League Baseball. Taking the big cut there. First strikeout of the game for Whitlock. And the other disappointing thing about this is Red Sox were feeling really good about the ball coming out of his hand early in spring. I thought the velo was up a little bit. Andrew Bailey was really happy with the results of some of the things they asked him to work on. Change up.
Yeah, you're spot on, TC. Velo was up. Changeup had good bite, down action. Everything looked really good and was pointed towards him bouncing back.
Siri with a ground ball for the second out of the inning. An easy play for Trevor Story. 2 up, 2 down here in the second. And that will again begin the cries to do more.
Of workhorse.
Jordan Montgomery, Blake Snell. There are pitchers available on the free agent market still who could obviously fill that void.
Just figuring out which direction. You know, it's do you want to add on to that with a big contract like a Montgomery, or do you see more of like a Michael Lorenzen, a guy that you could flip on a one-year deal at the trade deadline?
Popped up here on the left side. Story under it, battling the sun, and he will make the catch. So a quick inning for Whitlock, and we head to the bottom of the second scoreless. Download NESN 360 to watch Red Sox games, highlights, on-demand shows, and more. Download the NESN 360 app and log in with your TV provider to start streaming now. Tom Karen, Will Middlebrooks, Jemai Webster with you here at JetBlue Park. Red Sox 7-4-1 in spring training play, beaten in Lakeland by the Detroit Tigers 2-1 yesterday. Masataka Yoshida leading off. Down the right field line, just foul.
Yeah, Tarek Skubal was filthy yesterday for the Tigers. As soon as he came out of the game, his replacement gives up a bomb to Rafaela, which is good to see.
Jarren Duran is the leadoff hitter, batting at the top of the order and playing center field. As we go to 1-1, how much of this spring training is a battle for the center field position? Is it Duran's if he's healthy and Rafaela will have to wait, or can Rafaela pass him?
I think Rafaela can pass him because of Duran's ability to play left, with Masa getting a bulk of the DH at bats.
And that's a ground out, first out of the inning.
And that makes your defense better. Well, Masa's not here to play defense. It's good if you can stick him in front of the monitor and have him be average, but he was below that mark for most of last year. So I think Duran in left with Rafaela in center field makes your outfield defense that much better.
Tyler O'Neill, who's been playing left field, stepping up here, trying to get his bat going. Slow start so far, 167, but he has shown why he's got 2 Gold Gloves at home. Made some terrific plays already this spring.
It's exactly. So you add him to that mix as well, getting at bats, playing left field, and then Abreu in right, which he's a good defender, strong arm. He can control at bats. So there's some definite decisions to be made on how they're going to attack this outfield play and who gets at bats and when.
Found it interesting that today Alex Cora was telling us, even with the injury right now to Vaughn Grissom, he doesn't foresee Ceddanne Rafaela getting time at second base, even though he originally was an infielder. Said we might get to that point, but as he looks at it right now, Rafaela is vying for an outfield spot and an outfield spot only.
Which is interesting, just because with the void at second base, with we not knowing how long Grissom's going to be out, I think that tells us also not to be too worried about Grissom. That it's not going to be super serious and take a big chunk of time. Because if that was the case, I think Rafael would be seeing reps at second base.
O'Neill fouls another one back. Years ago, Tyler O'Neill, top 10 in the National League MVP voting with the Cardinals, finished 8th that year. What a year it was. In 138 games with the Cardinals, hit .286 with a .912 OPS and 34 home runs, plus a Gold Glove.
But what's the difference there in his other years? Health. Him on the field, 138 games. If he's on the field consistently, he gets in a good rhythm and produces.
It's out of the way of 2-2. Full count now with one down here in the second inning. No score between the Red Sox and Rays. These two teams will face each other this weekend in the Dominican Republic. Talk about that as we go on. This one fouled on the right side. Shenton getting over there, but it'll be out of play. Good at bat here for O'Neill. It'll be the 8th pitch of the at bat coming from Uwasawa. The 3-2 misses upstairs, so an 8-pitch walk. And O'Neill gets aboard with one out in the second.
Good at bat there, grinded out, fouled off some tough pitches there from Uwasawa. Curious to see how active some of these speed guys for the Sox are going to be in spring training. You want to work on your jumps, but at the same time, you want to keep people healthy.
Was it Sunday we saw Jaron Duran steal a base? And he said it wasn't his best jump, but it didn't even feel that smooth. But it's the first time you're putting that foot to the test at full speed.
Yeah, and I loved it. He said, look, I felt absolutely nothing. It felt great. It's obviously in the back of your mind when you're coming back for an injury and a surgery. And it was just a really good sign to see him go. Like you said, it was a bad jump, but his pure speed made up for it.
There's Abreu taking a strike. 1-1 the count to Wilyer Abreu, who really just continues to move up in the eyes of not only the Red Sox organization, but all of baseball. MLB Pipeline had him ranked 30th in the Houston organization when they made the trade a year and a half ago. Now he's up to 6th in the Boston organization, jumping up from 12th last year.
Yeah, I just love how he controls the bat. There's a maturity to his approach and playing at the plate. You don't see him chase much. We only had limited sample size of him last year, but he just doesn't chase outside. And I think making good swing decisions within the strike zone with that kind of pop, you can do some damage.
A little work on the bat, ready to get back in there. Last year, Abreu impressed in his time down here in 8 Grapefruit League games, hit .286 with a .1055 OPS. The runner goes on the 1-2. O'Neill in there easily with a stolen base.
Yeah, somewhat of almost a walking lead right there. You see O'Neill kind of hopping, getting a good jump. Uwasawa hasn't really been mixing his looks up much, so it was easy to get a good jump and pick up a tendency there. You could see him kind of bouncing into that walking lead and getting a really good jump. No chance to get him.
So run in scoring position now for Abreu. 2-2 from Uwasawa. Missing. The count will go full. Second consecutive full count here from Uwasawa.
You saw the split finger right there, 2-2. He loves that pitch, throws it a lot. Could see it again here with a base open.
The 3-2 pitch. Popped up. Third base side, out of play. We'll do it again. Abreu last year was the first Blue Sox named to the International League All-Star team at the end of the year. 3-home run game for the Woo Sox. First 3-homer game in Worcester Red Sox history. Fouls this one straight back. Did you flinch?
I did flinch.
It's a net.
You know what? You know, I'm already off, you know, because I dropped the Chianti talking about French
Put down
wine.
your French Chianti
All right,
and
and
watch
now
the
I'm
game.
flinching, you know, 30 yards away from home plate. That's where we're at today.
8th pitch of the at-bat. Second straight 8-pitch at-bat that Uwasawa has faced, and the second time in as many at-bats he will walk a batter. So 2 on now. Back-to-back walks. O'Neill and Abreu making Uwasawa work here in the second.
And it's not like Uwasawa just lost it. He's still making pitches. He's throwing strikes. These balls are just off the plate and just not getting O'Neill or Abreu to bite. Back to talking about Abreu controlling his at-bats, controlling the strike zone. That was a perfect example of it right there. Fouling off tough pitches on the edges and then spitting on the ones just off.
That'll bring up Connor Wong. Going to get the Red Sox on the board. Wong, you remember, missed the majority of last spring with that left hamstring strain he suffered right at the beginning of March. It was March 2nd last year. Got himself ready to go and did make the team for opening day. Swing and a miss from Wong here. 1-1 the count.
Yeah, tons of pop in the bat with Connor. It's just the swing and miss. There's going to be a lot of swing and miss, but if he runs into it, it goes a long way. So we saw that a few times last year.
Started 105 games a catcher last season. That was the 10th most in the majors. Pitch outside. Connor said it was good to have a fully healthy offseason, right? Just work on getting yourself bigger and stronger and ready to go for the coming season. And a grounder here to third. Can only get the 1 out at second, as they will get Abreu. The speed of O'Neill kept any shot at third out of the question. So a force out, 2 down, but men on the corners now for the number 9 hitter and Manuel Valdez.
Yeah, ball wasn't hit hard enough to turn anyways. They just about threw that into right field. Skipped it. It's a nice pick over there at second base.
That'll bring up Valdez, looking for his first hit of the spring. Takes ball 1. Valdez now, as we talk about Giolito and what happens at the pitchers behind him. Vaughn Grissom being a little bit behind. It'll be Valdez getting a lot of time at second base and ripping one into left field. And Manuel Valdez with a 2-out RBI single in the second. And the Red Sox take a 1-0 lead.
Good to see. Always nice to get that first knock out of the way in spring training. Even though it's spring training, you got to get that first one. He gets a cutter out over the plate right here. This is a really good sign. Anytime guys aren't feeling good timing-wise at the plate, going up there, seeing it deep, firing it the other way is a good way to get locked right back in. And this is just a really, really good swing.
Red Sox take a 1-0 lead over the Rays here in the second on the 2-out RBI for Valdez. A couple of walks and the single. And the Red Sox on the board. Jarren Duran rocking the blonde hair.
Refuse to take the hat off for it.
Would not take the cap off for Jemai Webster. And I'm telling you, Jemai, a veteran reporter, knows all the tricks, knows all the tricks of the trade. Tried time and time again to get him to show us, and he would not do it.
I wouldn't budge.
Fishing with the wrong bait. That's what you call that. Jarren Duran, such a breakthrough season last year for the Red Sox. You make the argument when they lost Duran and ultimately cost us later, it was the 2 young guys, and that was really kind of the end of their production, at least as far as it had been with the 2 of them in the lineup.
Well, I mean, Duran in the first half had a big impact, and then Casas kind of took over that impactful bat in the second half of the season from mid-June on. And then, yeah, losing those guys really put a dent in the offense.
Don't forget, Chief Baseball Officer Craig Breslow going to join us next half inning. He'll be up here. Lots to talk about today, obviously. Uwasawa goes upstairs and misses. It's 3-1 now to Jarren Duran.
A lot of 3-ball counts this inning.
The 3-1. It'll be the third walk of the inning for Uwasawa. He kicks the dirt unhappy.
Not the guy you want coming up after
Loading the bases for Rafael Devers is ill-advised.
Especially the way he's been swinging it.
And there'll be a little meeting on the mound with Devers stepping up to the plate. Al Snyder, Rays pitching coach, former Red Sox pitcher, out there having a word. Probably mentioning that Rafi Devers is a very good hitter. Be careful.
Yeah, good luck. In any pitch, any location, he could probably hit in the parking lot.
Right.
So
good luck being careful, because he'll hit that pitch too.
Be careful being careful is what he's telling. That's exactly
Can't be careful enough. Yeah, you talked before about Devers with the hand adjustment. There was a 3-month stretch last year where he did not hit an opposite field home run.
Yeah.
He's already hit 2 this spring.
Good sign.
Now he's got a chance to do some damage with the bases loaded and 2 outs here in the second. Takes a called strike. Didn't necessarily agree with the call.
That's up there. That's up there. Don't help him.
Next year you'll be able to go to the challenge system. Not this year.
A little tap of the helmet. Is that what they do?
I think so. Here's the 0-1. Pops this one way up high. Caminero underneath it. The sun is there, but he makes the catch. So they leave loaded, but the Red Sox do get a run on the base hit from Valdez. It's 1-0 after 2. Craig Breslow going to join us when we come back. Karen and Will Middlebrooks, joined by Chief Baseball Officer Craig Breslow. And in full disclosure, you had agreed to this a couple days ago. So we don't want to think you're coming on to sort of do any damage control. But then the news broke this morning, and obviously take us through the sort of news, what we know so far, and what happens next for Giolito.
Yeah, so still gathering information, kind of firmly in the hands of our medical staff. But Lucas had talked about feeling some discomfort coming out of his last start. Wanted to give it a little bit of time to calm down, but felt like it was time to escalate. So, kind of going through a workup right now, and once we get more information, we'll figure out the best plan for him.
Whatever amount of time you will have to go without Giolito, do you feel you have the candidates internally to fill that role?
I think we do. I've been outspoken about pursuing all options and paths that could represent an opportunity to improve the club. At the same time, I think now that we're here and we're playing games, we're starting to see the effect of Andrew Bailey and the rest of the pitching infrastructure and the steps forward that many of these guys have taken.
We talked about that a lot up here, just watching guys stuff, whether it's Whitlock's changeup, just how guys' velocity's up, and talking to Andrew of just how he attacks, how guys' body works, and how these, not going to make these big mechanical hauls on their deliveries, but using their bodies and getting the most out of their bodies and their natural movements and things like that. What's your viewpoint on what Andrew is bringing to this club?
Yeah, so I think he's bringing a lot. First of all, he's bringing a ton of credibility and experience in this market for this team. Beyond that, he's got just an unbelievable energy and enthusiasm and optimism around him, and incredible work ethic. So he's here at 4:30 in the morning, and he's figuring out how he can get better every day and how he can help our guys get better every day, and they're buying in. And you know, oftentimes we're making tweaks on the margins with guys who are talented enough to pitch in the big leagues, and so, you know, I think it's Andrew's talking about pitch usage and fine-tuning pitch shapes and ensuring that every pitcher knows their identity and embraces that and pitches to their strength. So pretty significant changes in pitch usage so far this spring.
Yeah, Craig, you talked about exploring every opportunity. It has been well discussed that there are free agents still out there. When an injury happens, does that change that discussion? Does it change the value you place on bringing someone in, or does it not? Do you still have to continue as you were 4 days ago compared to where you were now?
Yeah, I think each situation is different. You know, for us, a few days ago, I spoke about the optimism that we have around this group. You know, that remains. We see what Witt is doing today. We've seen the way that guys like Wink threw the ball yesterday and Houck has looked. And, you know, we're still trying to process exactly what we have in front of us and, you know, what kind of timeline we're dealing with. But I think we feel good about the group that we have here, and we will give them every chance to grab hold of rotation spots, to come together as a staff. It's also my job to evaluate the other options available.
So you made it clear that there's the options at the end, especially at the end of the rotation, whether it's Houck, Whitlock, Winkowski, Chris Well, these guys, you have options, right? Looking at the schedule, and we talked to Alex Cora about this a little earlier. Obviously, you start on the West Coast, you have a couple off days, but then you have 13 straight. Is the option of having 6 guys in that first month to kind of get you through that, is that a real option?
Yeah, you know, Alex and I have started to talk about that. Obviously, we'll have conversations with Andrew and others. I think we're very, very open-minded about the best way to piece that together. You know, the depth is a strength. I think the bullpen is a strength. I think there will be times where we'll need to be creative in terms of deploying our pitchers and getting outs. But those guys that you mentioned, we feel like they're all major league starters. And we've got to figure out the best way to deploy them.
This is a drive to center field by Aranda, and that will bring in the run, maybe 2. Both runners being sent in, both will score, so it winds up being a 2-run double for Aranda, and the Rays take their first lead of the game 2-1. We're here with Craig Breslow. Upstairs, Vaughn Grissom, the other injury, though, doesn't sound as severe from what we've learned so far. Do you have an update on Grissom and any kind of timetable for him yet?
You know, I think we're still kind of managing that day to day. He's reporting improved symptoms, you know, starting to get active. I think the good thing is he can still go out and he's tracking a bunch of pitches, and you know, he's pretty active in the training room and the weight room. You know, he's a guy that I know is super anxious about getting on the field, and we need to be mindful of that and making sure that we don't overdo it, especially early.
Fly ball to right for the second out of the inning. And towards that end, we talked with Alex Cora today about Ceddanne Rafaela. Is there a temptation to get him back on the infield because there could be a need there? He said for the moment you're sticking with the plan for the outfield, but does that become a temptation when you've got a versatile guy like that?
I mean, it's a temptation in that we think that he can be an elite defender at multiple positions. You know, we are constantly trying to balance his development in the short term with his development in the long term with what is best for the 2024 Red Sox. As things stand right now, we're giving him the chance to make the opening day roster, win the starting center field job, and we try not to react too emotionally to other news because it's easy to become distracted and to think about how do we plug holes versus what do we think is best for Rafaela, best for the short term and best for the long term.
Well, you also have a lot of outfield options and guys that can really play every day and impact the team in a good way. So obviously Emmanuel Valdez can swing the bat well. Obviously you have Pablo Reyes who you can plug in and play that as well. So you have options. Options are a good thing, but I think Rafaela, to your point, can be a game changer in center field.
Yeah, and I'd put David Hamilton in that mix as well. The ability to play second, to play short, super athletic, dynamic, and yeah, having options is great. But also we need to make sure that we're giving guys the runway to showcase what they're capable of doing.
Here with Craig Breslow as the Red Sox now trailing 2-1, top the third. Garrett Whitlock out for his third inning of the day, and that'll be fouled back. You mentioned Andrew Bailey and obviously Justin Willard, the new pitching director. I think Kyle Bodie was here over the weekend from Driveline. To a man, the pitchers seem to be talking about some early results. How gratifying is that? Some of the things you've set before them are getting some quick results, which will lead into more buy-in.
Yeah, there's a circular nature to this, right? And it's really difficult to predict timelines and how quickly you'll see results, and typically what happens in the game out there is kind of a lagging indicator relative to the infrastructure that you're building out and the philosophies that you're trying to change. So it's been great. And like I said, Andrew, above all else, is just so enthusiastic and energetic and compelling and so likable that he was always going to be able to build relationships with our players. The fact that we've seen progress and success so quickly only reinforces that.
That's a trust thing, right? As well as it's like bringing in someone new, building relationships, getting to know each other, and then implementing a new structure. It takes a lot of trust. So I think that speaks very highly on his ability to get to know these guys so early in camp.
Absolutely, and he started that process this offseason. I mean, the day that we hired him, he was already scheduling Zoom calls and meeting players and scheduling flights down here to Fort Myers to meet guys face to face. And I think his experience here, the playing experience, the credibility, he's been through it all, and it's resonating with the guys.
All right, Whitlock gets Shenton swinging down the inning, gives up a couple of runs. We head to the bottom of the third. Craig, thanks for dropping by. We know it's been a busy day. We appreciate it.
Thank you.
Craig Breslow. Furniture is collecting like-new youth baseball and softball equipment for their double play program. Donate to any Jordan's Furniture store locations through April 7th. All equipment will benefit the Red Sox Foundation Nike RBI program. Welcome back. Bottom of the third. Red Sox now trailing 2-1. A new pitcher on the mound for the Rays, Ryan Pepio, is on the mound as the second pitcher of the day. Pepio was really the big return in the Glasnow Margot trade with the Dodgers, right? Tyler Glasnow acquired by the Dodgers to really be an important part of them, of their rotation. But Pepio, they really think the upside is opportunity to be an upper echelon starting pitcher.
Oh yeah, the stuff's there, and it's 3 pitches. You know, his fastball's going to average mid-90s. It's a good ride. Hitters only hit 156 against it last year, and he pairs that with a really good changeup and then a slider as that 3rd pitch.
MLB Pipeline called the changeup the best in all of minor league baseball in 2022. And over the years, he's increased velocity on his fastball. It's up 3-4 miles an hour from when he first came aboard.
Yeah, and the higher that fastball velocity goes, the more effective the changeup is, because it comes out of that same tunnel. The depth perception, it just dives and dives down into the dirt. It's a lot of swing and miss on it.
An oblique strain in the final start of spring training for the Dodgers last year. Came on at the end. Takes the bat out of the hand of Trevor Story.
Just doing anything possible to get the hands and the wrist out of the way. You'll take it off the arm, ribs, anywhere. You don't want to get hit in the hands or the wrist. There's so many small bones in there. Hard to get a good look. It might have got that back arm.
Hopefully the padding.
Hopefully the padding. He tried to stick it out there so it would get it, to get the hands out of the way. That's the last thing you want in the spring, especially for your starting shortstop.
Whew. Trevor Story aboard for the 2nd time today. Had a single, now hit by a pitch, and now Casas got to get out of the way.
Pepe a little angry today, huh? Get this guy some coffee.
Pepio, just 26 years old, born in Indianapolis, the 3rd round pick of the Dodgers out of Butler University. Called strike there. He was undrafted out of high school and then was the highest draft pick in Butler University history. Good things come to those who wait.
Late bloomer.
Told you he came up at the end of the season with the Dodgers after that oblique strain, got 8 games up, because this one's fouls back up above us, and then was one of the Dodgers' best pitchers down the stretch. Dodger Nation was in an uproar that you never got to see him in the series against Arizona as the Diamondbacks swept the Dodgers. Dave Roberts was said to be saving him for game 4 or 5, but there was no game 4 or 5.
They had some guys that had to step up. Bobby Miller, another young guy, had to step up, because obviously Walker Buehler didn't make it back because of the Tommy John. Julio Urias because of off the field issues. So they really needed some guys to step up, and he was good.
1-2, swing and a miss. He'll strike out Casas for the 1st out of the inning.
That's just a quick arm from Pepio. I mean, this thing, the fastball jumps out of his hand. And he's thrown some good sliders. That fastball is just different. You could tell, whether it's spin rate, his attack angle, whatever it is, that ball just stays at the top of the zone, and hitters think it's hittable.
Story on the pitch, no throw, and that'll be a stolen base. 2nd one of the game for the Red Sox. Tyler O'Neill had one last inning. Now Trevor Story getting himself into scoring position for Yoshida.
Yeah, that's a really good jump by Trev. He was timing him that whole at bat. You could see him in the pitches before trying to, move that front foot, trying to time him on his release to home plate, and he got a good jump right there.
One and one, the count now to Yoshida, grounded out to 2nd base to begin the 2nd inning. Masataka Yoshida getting ready for his 2nd year of Major League Baseball after an interesting first season. Great first half, good numbers overall, 3rd in the American League Rookie of the Year voting. But last year's spring training was such a whirlwind coming from the World Baseball Classic. He came here early, then left to go back to his team in Japan, went all the way to the championship game.
All while in a new country, you don't know your teammates, you don't know your coaching staff.
Story goes again. It'll be the 2nd stolen base of the inning for Trevor Story.
Absolutely love that. It's one thing still in 2nd base. Still in 3rd base, especially with 2 outs, is tough. Normally frowned upon, but if you know you have something on a guy and you can get a really good jump, go for it.
By the way, yeah, there was a swing and a miss for strike 3. So 2 down, back-to-back strikeouts for Pepio. And that'll bring up Tyler O'Neill. who drew an 8-pitch walk and stole a base of his own back in the second inning. Red Sox have vowed since day one of this camp that they will be faster than last year. And last year, they took a huge step forward using the new rules to their advantage. In the running game, O'Neill cranks this one up high over everything and gone. First home run of the spring for Tyler O'Neill, and the Red Sox are back on top.
Gosh, TC, that's good to see. Just textbook right there. He was sitting slider clearly. Gets one middle of the plate. First pitch, fastball up and in. And a lot of times pitchers think, I'm moving him off the plate. I'm going to steal a strike here with a slider. He spins one, cement mixer, middle, and Tyler O'Neill just deposits it.
Trevor Story's thinking, why am I doing all this running?
Like,
I could have just
walked
stayed on first base. Good to see Tyler O'Neill healthy, getting into the swing. We've seen it defensively, and just there you saw the bat that was so impactful for the Cardinals just a few years ago. Oof. This is a mash to center field. Siri getting under it, but the Sun has no idea as it falls to the dirt. Abreu running all the way around second base and will stand up with a triple here in the third.
Ball really jumped off the bat there. I thought he got it even better when it came off the bat. Kind of got into that triangle back there, but this time of day, balls to center field, anything can happen. And watching Abreu out of the box, he hits it and he immediately drops the bat, gets going, gets running. It would have been real easy to just only end up on second base there. Good to see him on third.
It's partially cloudy here at Southwest Florida, as you said. Nothing you want more as an outfielder than full cloud.
Oh, man. Anybody.
Sun Field is real here in spring training, and the Red Sox now the man on third. The 2-run home run from Tyler O'Neill giving them the 3-2 lead. And now Abreu at third with 2 outs for Connor Wong, who slaps this one into right field. That's an RBI single for the catcher, Connor Wong. And a 4-2 lead for the Red Sox in third.
Love that. Just a little soft serve, dump one in, drive the run in. No big deal. It's an RBI single for Connor Wong. Love to see that. It's really not trying to do too much here. Gets a pitch over the plate. Slider actually down and away. Broke off the plate away, and he stays on it. Gets just enough. Dump that one in.
So the Red Sox, a 3-run third inning here. All the damage coming with 2 outs. And Manuel Valdez looking to add to it. Last year, the breakthrough year for Valdez, who will tag this one to center field. Siri going back, but it's off the wall, and it'll fall down in front of him. Coming all the way around from first is Connor Wong, and sliding in with the second triple of the inning is Manuel Valdez. Red Sox take a 5-2 lead.
Second knock of the day for Valdez, and this one was punished. This one was crushed to center field. And Jose Siri's getting a little frustrated out there. This one off the bat, you could tell he couldn't really get a good look on this one either. Gets up there in the sun, gives up on it on the wall. I think he thought it bounced over his head and didn't realize it knocked it down right in front of him. Pretty lazy effort, to be honest. I know he's frustrated with the sun, but you got to play out the play.
Well, they'll go as triples. Both could have been, well, certainly the Abreu one could have been caught with the sun. That one maybe could have been kept to a double. Had you played it off the wall, whatever the case, Red Sox will take it. 4 runs in here in the third. And Jarren Duran, first pitch swinging. High, fly ball, left side, out of play.
Well, we've talked about this a lot, TC. This offense is going to score runs. They're going to hit. They're going to be athletic. They're going to run. They're going to fly around the base paths. Yeah, the questions are on the pitching side of things. Can the starting pitchers work deeper into games to keep that off, let that offense work? But the offense, I see no problem in them putting up runs.
And that's where the run prevention unit comes in. Yes, the group that Jason Varitek and Andrew Bailey and the pitching staff have started to call that's pitching and defense, right? The run prevention unit. We're going to score some runs. Can we prevent some runs as a unit?
As a unit, yeah. I mean, defensive ability, defensive metrics should look a lot better this year. I think just switching in Trevor Story for Kike Hernandez is going to make a big impact. But the outfield is athletic. They're going to make plays.
The 1-1, swing and a miss from Duran.
And watching Raffy at third this spring and watching him take his ground balls during batting practice and infield work, he's made there's an emphasis on his lower half and his feet, and he just looks a lot better at third base.
Just looks more confident.
He does. It's all about your feet and taking the right angles, that first step at third base, because everything gets on you so fast. If you take one wrong step, you put yourself in a bad position. You can't make the play.
The 1-2 to Duran is ball 2. And last year, you talk about defense, the guy at the plate was a big part of that last year. Just take a look at Devers in the on-deck circle, but Duran took a big step forward last year defensively. Outfield jump, which is the feet covered in correct direction against MLB average. He was 4th best in baseball. Strikes out here, but it's a big inning for the Red Sox. 4 on the board to take a 5-2 lead into the 4th.
Any secrets, don't tell them to me.
You're looking fresh though, bro.
Hey, sis, you too. Can you go up to the family suite? My son wants to see you. All right. How you doing, bro? Like the stash, bro.
Oh, thanks. What's up, bro?
How you doing, bro?
Trevor Story wearing the mic. What do you call that? Guys being dudes and dudes being dads.
That's it.
Before the game.
Hey, my son, he needs you up
Could
there.
you get up to the suite? Because I'm going to have to answer to him tonight. I don't care if I go 4 for 5 with 2 home runs. No Wally means a bad day at the ballpark.
He's
Love
not
that.
answering his 1-year-old. He's answering a mama.
No doubt about that. Justin Slayton on now. Second pitcher of the game for the Red Sox. Slayton essentially acquired in the Rule 5 draft. He was picked by the Mets in the full Rule 5 draft, who then traded him to the Red Sox. So he's got to stay on the Major League roster, and he'll get a pop-up here. We'll drift way back to actually further than I thought. Abreu wanted it to make the catch. So as Slayton comes out here, Garrett Whitlock is in the bullpen finishing his day, right? Because the pitch count didn't get as high as you want, but you don't necessarily want to be out there throwing in competition as you're just building up the work. So this happens a lot in spring training. You finish off the pitch count, the workload in the bullpen.
Yeah, maybe Alex Cora is just looking out for us, TC. You don't want a mid-inning pitching change, you know? We'll chalk it up to that.
He did, AC did spend time working television, so he understands.
I'm sure that's exactly
I'm sure it
what he's
has
thinking.
nothing to do with it whatsoever. It's a nice thought.
Yeah.
That'll bring up Jose Siri, who's 0 for 1 and 0 for 2 in center field. Abreu with the triple that fell in, and that was just a blinded by the sun situation, but a strange effort on that.
Yeah, he lost both of them in the sun, but yeah,
Valdez.
the effort there on the second one was the issue.
Grounds this one to shortstop. Trevor Story has it sail away. That'll go into the dugout. And Siri will be aboard with 1 out here in the 4th.
A pretty routine chopper here. Trev caught it clean, got his feet under him, went to make the throw. It looks like he just lost it. I don't know if he didn't have a good grip or what, but yeah, routine. Everything looked good until it came out of his hand. Sometimes it's too routine. Yeah, just a bad throw.
That'll bring up Alex Jackson. 1 out, 1 on here in the 4th inning. Jackson last year was with Milwaukee. Originally a first-round draft pick of the Seattle Mariners, acquired by Tampa Bay from Milwaukee at the deadline last year for Evan McKendry. So he's with the AAA team in Nashville from Milwaukee, where he had a .913 OPS. Then in Durham, was hitting well, but then was shut down for the final month with a right shoulder injury. He's a guy kind of in the mix for the other catching spot we talked about. He's DH today, but he's a catcher. Early in his career, we said first-round pick of Seattle. He was a top 100 prospect. He's been traded 4 times in his career, including the 2021 deal that saw him go from Atlanta to Miami. 4.
You love
trivia time.
Okay, let's
to
see.
Red Sox connection. Flies it to right field. Abreu under it.
I have no clue.
It's a strong throw to third base. And he'll slide in safely, but a terrific throw from Wheeler Abreu in right field. Almost getting Siri at third.
You hear about the arm. You see the 97th percentile in arm strength during his time in the big leagues last year. But actually getting to see it in person. This is not a shallow fly ball. He goes back on this. And look at this. I mean, that is head high to Rafi Devers. Just a great throw.
Last chance?
No shot. I forgot.
Atlanta to Miami for Adam Duvall.
Yeah, there you go.
We just talked about this after the game the other day, too, how we won't do trivia on the air.
Yeah.
And here we are in the 4th
No,
inning.
I like it. I like it. Normally, that's like a 7th, 8th, 9th inning in a spring training game.
Whatever. I saw the opportunity. I took it. Later, we'll do trivia involving French wines.
I can't wait for that.
0-1 the pitch here. Base hit up the middle, so a 2-out RBI for Jake Mangum. And the Rays get one back here in the 4th.
You know, this could be the problem that Slayton can run into is everything is hard, right? His fastball's hard. His slider can kind of turn into a cutter at times. Everything is firm. And there's not a big velo change in his pitches for deception. So hitters can go up there and just look hard, right? You don't have to worry about a slow curveball. You have to worry about a changeup. And you might run into some hard contact if you don't work to the edges.
Last year got his first taste of AAA experience, but overall on the season, AA and AAA had a 12.97, nearly 13 strikeouts per 9 innings. And it all begins with a fastball, high 90s fastball. Had a Brantley 0-2. 2 outs here in the 4th inning. Red Sox leading 5-3. Brantley, drafted by the Detroit Tigers way back in 2010 out of UC Riverside. Last season was in the Toronto organization, AAA with them. He's got 11 seasons of AAA baseball, 2,500 plate appearances. And this one will get away from Wong, and the runner will advance. Mangum heads up, was gone as soon as it hit the dirt.
There's actually a curveball from Slayton right there that you don't normally see. He's a mainly fastball slider guy, so clearly working on adding that third pitch, because that's going to be huge for him going forward. Because that just gives a wrinkle in not only speed, but the way the ball comes out of his hand and how a hitter picks it up.
The 2-2, swing and a miss, strike 3. So Slayton strands the runner. The Rays get one back. And we head to the bottom of the 4th here at JetBlue Park. Red Sox leading 5-3. Back here at JetBlue Park, the Red Sox with a 2-run lead at the bottom of the 4th as Ryan Pepio comes back out for his 2nd inning of work. Red Sox put 4 up on the board when he came into the game in the 3rd. Justin Slayton getting through the 4th inning, giving up the 1 run. Garrett Whitlock before that went 3 innings. 2 runs scored in the 3rd, both coming in on a 2-run double for Jonathan Aranda. And Whitlock, after a little extra work in the bullpen, is done for the day. He is down in the dugout with Jemai.
All right, thank you very much. Here with Garrett. 41 pitches in the game. Finish the rest of your work to continue your build-up in the bullpen. How would you describe your execution this afternoon?
It's good. Definitely need to, change up wasn't as down as I wanted it today when it needed to be for swing and miss. It was more in zone than I wanted, especially after I got ahead. So I think just kind of making sure that, once I get ahead, go ahead and put it somewhere where they're going to be able to try and swing and miss on it.
Yeah, talking about that changeup, we mentioned early in camp how you're trying to get it to where you need it to be. It's a great tool to have in your bag, but what do you think allows you to be the most effective pitcher in the outings that you're out there?
Just filling up the zone. It's just one of those where it's like, if I can get ahead of guys, then I'm going to be... That's so freaking easy for him. But, daggone. But no, it's just filling up the zone, getting ahead, and, just pounding the strike zone and, always keeping the hitters on their toes.
Third spring training start for you now. You've covered 8 innings, 8 hits, 4 runs, 10 strikeouts. How satisfying have these outings been for you?
Good. I'm always striving to be better. But, besides 2 hits on the changeup, everything else has been weak contact, so I'm good with that. And just filling up the strike zone's been the big part.
So you're talking to Pedro too when you came back over here. How awesome has it been to have guys like that to be able to lean on, who have a history with the organization and success in this league as well?
It's been great. He's really been in my corner, especially this spring training. I've spent a lot of time talking to him so far, and it's good to always have guidance and everything. And it's an honor to be able to work with him.
And speaking of Pedro going to his home country now, it appears you'll be in line to pitch in the Dominican Republic this weekend. How much are you looking forward to experiencing, I guess, that environment?
Oh, I'm stoked. I think that's one of the, it's one of the coolest environments in baseball for sure. And, just to be able to travel to another country and get to see other culture and get to respect and learn other culture, it's really honoring good. It is. Yeah, I was about to say, that's a lot of loud freaking contact. Just to be able to experience another culture and be able to experience another people group and everything, it's awesome.
Now, I'd be remiss without mentioning this. Earlier this week, you dominated the King of the Hill, the competition that you guys have with the pitcher's fielding practice, able to dunk goose and take that title. Like, how satisfying was it to finish on top?
It's good. I mean, you know, the big thing for our spring training has been breeding competition, and so it's just another thing that, you know, you get to have to be able to enjoy the competition and be able to compete, and so it's a lot of fun when you get that.
Now, your good buddy Tanner Houck, I don't know why this is the case. You know, after the play you made in Houston last year as far as your athletic ability, I don't know why he continues to doubt you. How satisfying was it to be able to, you know, keep him quiet for at least another week?
Man, again, even when I made that play in Houston, he was just like, I caught it standing up. So, you know, it wouldn't matter what I did. Tanner would always find a way to be able to try and one-up it. So it's just, I love it, and it's one of the things that makes him such a good friend and everything. So we always love it, and we always banter back and forth.
Love that you guys continue to keep that going. Garrett, thanks so much for the time. Certainly appreciate it, man.
Absolutely. Thank you.
All right, TC, back upstairs to you, man.
Thanks, Jemai. Great play-by-play, too, from Garrett Whitlock there on the double from Ravi Devers. So freaking easy.
I just love the dadgum.
Dadgum, that's easy.
He's really opened up.
Yeah,
you know,
has.
His interviews, he's starting to get more and more look into his personality. It's a lot of fun.
You know what? I mean, a guy who went through the Rule 5, the transition from the Yankees to the Red Sox, a guy who's being thrust from Double-A up to the majors. And you know, the success he had that first year, 2021, might have been the most valuable reliever in baseball that year. And then to go through the struggles he's gone through, the injuries, the doubt last year, and back here now in the best shape we've seen him in, certainly in a Red Sox camp, and embracing that role of the Swiss Army knife. I'll do whatever they ask. That's a refreshing attitude, as Devers got caught somewhere in the middle between third base and home. And there's a little bit of confusion. I'm not, you know, the pitch comm, I think, came away from the catcher, and he thought it was the ball. I think.
And he clearly thought the ball was out of the catcher's glove.
Right.
And he did get a good jump. It just wasn't the ball.
And so there's a little bit of confusion here on the way that inning ends. But it ends with Ravi Devers being tagged out at home plate by Brantley, who didn't have a pitch comm but did have the baseball.
Interesting. I haven't seen that one.
And we'll head to break with the Red Sox holding on to the 5-3 lead. We're back here in Fort Myers, the Red Sox holding on to a 5-3 lead. Kind of a strange ending to the fourth inning. And take a look, and it is the pitch comm from the catcher that pops behind and almost looks exactly on line with the baseball.
It's white. It was on the back. A lot of the catchers keep it on their wrist, on the back of their glove. So it's easy. You can hide it. You can push the buttons. And the impact of the ball hitting the glove actually did knock it off of the Velcro on the back of that glove. And it you saw the replay. It was wide. It looked like a ball went right through his glove or right off his glove.
Investigative reporter Jemai Webster getting the scoop. Indeed, they did find out that Devers thought that was the ball, and that ball is long gone. So that is a leadoff home run for Jose Caballero off Chris Murphy to begin this 5th inning, and he mashed that.
Had a nice welcome for Chris Murphy there. Caballero, we saw a little bit in Seattle last year when the Sox were up there playing the Mariners. Yeah, just gets a fastball middle right here, gets the head out and just hits that over everything.
So it's a 1-run game now here in the top of the 5th on the big home run for Jose Caballero. You said Seattle last year. They traded it for him in January, sending Luke Raley to Seattle. With the Wander Franco situation at the time looking less and less likely they'll get him back. Taylor Wall's unlikely to be ready after offseason hip surgery. They needed to address the shortstop situation. Caballero could very well be the opening day shortstop for the Rays.
Yeah, and they weren't sure if Caminero was going to be ready. I think they like him at third base as well, projection-wise. So, yeah, you're right. They need a shortstop.
This will be Jonathan Aranda now. Aranda had a 2-run double in the 3rd inning. First run scored by the Rays. Swing and a miss there. And first strikeout of the game, Chris Murphy.
That's the Chris Murphy we've been seeing all spring. His last couple outings has just been absolutely shoving. Caballero just ran into a fastball. But Chris Murphy's been throwing the ball really well. Lots of life on that heater. We saw that in his outings last year as the velocity ticked up. His off speed all of a sudden was so much more effective. He's going to be a big part of this team this year.
Harold Ramirez now, the right fielder, 1 for 2 on the afternoon. Came into the game hitting .417 this spring. It was an interesting offseason for Ramirez. A lot of rumors that the Rays were shopping him before his 2nd round of arbitration. That's what the Rays do, and they do it better than anybody. Not just moving guys before arbitration, but getting young players that can impact the future and doing it just at about the right time.
Yeah, you'll see the Rays always just, I don't want to say dumpster dive, but bring in guys that you wouldn't expect teams to bring in, and then all of a sudden they have a 2 ERA through 30 appearances. It's just, they just have an equation over there for these free agents. But to your point on Harold Ramirez, this guy is just, his bat to ball skills are unbelievable. Hits over 300, hit a 125 OPS plus. There's still some pop in there. Not he's not going to hit 25 homers, but he had 12. He just doesn't strike out a ton.
And just mashes left-handed pitching.
Yes.
Last 2 seasons with the Rays, 921 OPS against lefties. His career, it's 816. Slaps this one into his own dugout.
Bad teammate right there. Look out. What do you got on these yellow hats? There's some interesting spring training hats this year. You see the Rangers?
Yeah.
The baby blue, powder blue?
Not a fan.
Interesting.
Not a fan of those. Don't mind the yellow. It's got a spring training vibe.
I like the yellow better than the Ranger blue.
Strike 3 called. I agree. That's the 2nd out of the inning. Back-to-back strikeouts now for Murphy. I wish the pitch com were yellow. Then you wouldn't confuse it with the baseball.
That's a great point. I get thrown out at home with 2 outs. No big deal. Yeah, Chris Murphy, this will be a good pitch for him this year, is that breaking ball. We talk about the fastball a lot. He's aggressive with his fastball. He gets ahead with it, but he needs an out pitch, and that's going to be it.
So back-to-back strikeouts now for Murphy as he faces Austin Shenton. Shenton 0 for 2, grounded out to first base in the 1st inning, struck out to end the 3rd. A former Wareham Gateman, Cape Cod League play, and a 940 OPS in his Cape Cod League season. Oof. He's trying to get rid of his yellow hat. Oh, Wally's offering a trade. Unlike Jaron Duran, willing to show you the moss under the cap. Just missing on the 0-2 pitch.
There's no way that Wally costume smells great in Florida. Maybe during the summer, you know, Boston is not that hot, but down here, I don't know. Tough gig.
That's fouled off left side. Is Wally got a bald spot up there?
It's a solar panel. That's where he charges.
I mean, you don't see Wally often without the hat. Just a little worried. I got a guy.
You got to go to Turkey for that or what?
If you need any help, I got a guy. This thing inside. Sox leading 5-3. The big news of the day, the Lucas Giolito elbow discomfort, been shut down. And reports from ESPN and others that it is potentially going to need surgery, as this is fly to right field, and Abreu will make the catch. The home run for Caballero gets one back for the Rays, but we head to the bottom of the 5th with the Red Sox leading 5-4.
Bring it. That was awesome. Good to see you, bro. Good to see you. Like I haven't seen you. I know. Nice pitch. Beautiful. Sorry, man. Hey!
All smiles at that point, and why not? Meantime, Masataka Yoshida rips one to the right field corner, and he will pull up with a lead-off double here in the 5th inning.
Love to see that. You know, he was feeling comfortable coming into the bat against Pepio, because before Devers got thrown out at home plate after that weird inning, Masa had seen 5 pitches in that at bat. So I was not surprised at all to see him be aggressive early in the count there and get the head out on that one for the double.
Third inning of work for Ryan Pepio.
Let's go now, 170, here we go now.
Tyler O'Neill, who mashed a 2-run home run back in the 3rd inning. Behind 0-2 here, his first home run of the spring. A little flash of the power the Cardinals got to see back in 2021. Two. Take it outside, ball 1.
Pepio's got good stuff, but he's just been kind of missing a lot of his spots. You see there trying to go fastball in, throws it away. Pitch before that trying to go away, threw it in. It worked out because it beat O'Neill, but he's missing a lot of his spots.
Here's the 1-2 down in the dirt. That was the actual baseball. Yoshida will pull up at third base.
Now the approach changes, right, as a hitter. Even with 2 strikes, no outs. Yeah, you're in battle mode because it's 2 strikes, but with the guy on second base, you want to try to move him over, especially in spring training. You're working on situational hitting. But now you get infield in. Still just in battle mode. You want to make sure to put the ball in play, but anything you can hit in the air, the better.
Here's the 2-2. And O'Neill drives this one high towards the left field wall. And off the screen in the green monster with his speed, he will pull up with a stand-up double. Second extra base hit of the game. 3 RBI now for O'Neill, and the Red Sox lead 6-4.
That's it in that situation. Even with 2 strikes, infield is in. You want to hit the ball in the air, get that sac fly, or even better, mash a double off the wall. BC gets a pitch up in the zone right here. Pepio's trying to, you want a ball on the ground. I'm actually surprised he went up in the zone right there. I thought maybe more breaking ball down below, try to get a ground ball. That's a good pitch for O'Neill to elevate, hit off the wall for an RBI double.
That'll bring up Abreu. Nobody out. O'Neill at second. Abreu, part of the big 4-run third inning, had a triple that blinded Siri in the sun. Landed on the warning track. Center field. Long hit ball. But if not for the sun, probably would have been caught. (6-4) Red Sox leading. 39 hits. Off Rays pitching here in the 5th inning.
Good seeing the offense break out a little bit. You know, in spring training, the pitchers tend to be ahead of the hitters, at least for the first couple weeks until the guys get their timing. So this is really the first game you're starting to see a lot of loud contact. I know there's been a couple sun balls, but a couple of those were hit hard anyways. Home run, ball off the wall. It's been good to see.
Pepio delivers the 2-1. 2-2. Oh, called it a ball, and Pepio not happy with the call. Pepio's got a little fire to him, doesn't he?
He's definitely, yeah, I mean, he's smiling and laughing it off, but they're competitors here.
Now a couple of words for the Rays dugout.
I think for some frustration as well. Like I said, missing spots, getting hit hard in a couple of situations.
There's the 3-1 pitch, swing and a miss, count is full. Take another look at that pitch that drew the reaction.
Little in. I mean, when the catcher pulls it back that far, he's not doing you any favors. That tells the umpire it's off the plate.
The 3-2 from Pepio. Grounded to third. Going to be a tough play. Barehanded and nicely turned. Well done by Caminero to get the out. Heads up running by O'Neill, who will advance to third. 1 down here in the 5th.
Yeah, really, really athletic play here by Caminero. Coming to get that ball off the line and making a really accurate throw to first base.
Beg your pardon, by the way. I looked up and thought I saw O'Neill going. O'Neill is still at second base.
He did break.
He broke.
You did see him break. I thought he would continue to go. You have to worry about a fake throw in that situation. As a third baseman, you got to know your base runner. O'Neill did break off the bat, took the step, and then stopped.
Yeah, he stopped. Spring training for all of us. He got it right, I got it wrong.
You work on that, I'll work on my wines.
Which ones? The Italians or the French?
Probably both.
One down, man on second. Connor Wong at the plate.
Much of a sommelier.
Hickey now. It's a Hickey taking the spot for Wong.
Hey, this kid's showing some thump this spring. Swings a good bat.
Nathan Hickey, a little number to the right side. It'll be played by Pepio. He'll flip it to first for the second out of the inning. And now O'Neill will get third. That'll be 2 down for Edmanuel Valdez. Cedon Rafaela on deck. Came in for Jarren Duran. Tyler O'Neill, nice afternoon. A 2-run home run. Drew an 8-pitch walk in his first at-bat. Yeah. Stole a base. 2-run home run his second at-bat. Now an RBI double.
Have a day.
Here in the 5th.
Edmanuel Valdez, triple and a single. He's swinging it well also.
Pepio delivers. Skied foul back above us. Valdez frustrated, thought he could have done something with that pitch.
Yeah, he wanted that one back. He put a good pass on it, good swing, on time, just under it.
49 games last season for Edmanuel Valdez. Good block back there. Brantley keeps it in front of him. Valdez made his major league debut April 19th against the Minnesota Twins. Went 2 for 4. Singled in each of his first 2 at-bats. Went back to Worcester after that. Dealt with a left hamstring issue for a little bit and came back in September. Hit .292 over 8 games. Back to Worcester, back to Boston. Finished at .333 for the month of September. Fouls another one off here.
And as the season went on, his defense continued to improve. It seemed weekly. You know, a lot of work with Carlos Febles, who we just saw, who was here. He's a third base coach for the Blue Jays now. And even Alex Cora mentioned, you could thank Carlos Febles for the how the defense has gotten much better there for Valdez at second base.
A native of the Dominican Republic went home to play winter ball this winter, and they said it really worked on the defense there. Pepio missing outside, so it's a full count now. Red Sox with a run here in the 5th inning on the back-to-back doubles. Masataka Yoshida and Tyler O'Neill. 6-4 they lead. Swan ripped to right field. That'll be a base hit. O'Neill scores an RBI double for Edmanuel Valdez. A home run shy of the cycle. And the Red Sox had a run here in the 5th.
Yeah, not only do you love seeing Valdi get the knock here, but just working the count, not expanding the zone, controlling his back, finally getting his pitch over the plate. You know, he got a fastball he missed earlier. He won it back, but gets to hang his slider here. Able to drive it down the line for the double.
That'll be the end of the day for Ryan Pepio. A pitching change here in Fort Myers. The Red Sox put 2 back on the board here in the 5th inning. Tomorrow, 4 teams take center ice for the women's hockey semifinals. Starting at 4:30, UNH takes on Northeastern. Then at 7, Boston College faces off against UConn. Don't miss the action starting at 4:30 only on NESN. Sox leading 7-4. New pitcher Michael Gomez. Out of Cal State Polytechnic. In to face Cedar Rafaela. Gomez last year got up to AAA with the Yankees organization. 47 appearances for Scranton Wilkes-Barre. Rafaela tags this one high to left field. And that'll end the inning for the Red Sox. Had a couple runs, doubles from Yoshida, O'Neill, and Valdez. And it is a 7-4 lead after 5.
This is Internet.
JetBlue Park, Red Sox on top of the Rays, 7-4 here in the 6th inning. We're here with Connor Wong after a solid 4 innings for you. They kind of slow played your catching a little bit, but you're able to get in there. How would you describe where you are at physically right now?
You know, body feels good, recovering good. Today's obviously a really warm one. So I'm going to make sure I get hydrated after this and get in the cold tub and get ready to go tomorrow.
Seems the starting pitchers have really been doing a great job up until this point in the spring. How have they looked from your viewpoint from behind the plate?
You know, guys are attacking the zone. The stuff looks really good. Some guys are working on new pitches. Those are coming out great. So it's just relearning everyone again. Obviously, everyone's got new stuff. They've worked on stuff in the offseason. So trying to get to know them, if you will, again, and, you know, go from there.
With Whitlock, it's the changeup that has kind of been a weapon of emphasis for him, and we talked about it as well. What kind of feedback can you offer from what you've seen?
Yeah, I mean, it's been his bread and butter for a while now. He's obviously got the really good two-seamer too, and how those play off each other. But I think the changeup was really good. You know, he left a couple up today, got away with 1 or 2, and then got burned on 1. But it's still early, and, you know, he'll make those adjustments.
For you last year, career high in catching, really posting and showing your availability. How have you come into this season to put yourself in a position to be able to handle the workload?
Yeah, I mean, obviously that was kind of uncharted waters for me. So going into the offseason, I kind of knew how I needed to prepare, what my body was going to eventually feel like, and how it was going to be mentally. So just with those things in mind in the offseason kind of helped push me throughout the winter and get ready for this year, and I kind of have an idea of what to expect.
Alex is talking to us earlier in the year, talking about how Cedar Rafaela has the green light to eat whatever he wants. I know controlling your weight and keeping it on has been a tall task for you as well. How have you been able to pack on some pounds and be able to stay steady in that department?
You just got to be like a garbage disposal, but also mindful of what you are eating. You know, I think something I tried to stay away from this offseason was some of the sugar stuff. So just really trying to put on the lean muscle and, you know, work out hard.
but you have the green light as well. I mean, no restrictions aside from the sweets.
Yeah, I mean, sweets are great, but the good stuff is where it's at.
Offensively, coming into this year, how are you feeling about the things that you're seeing at the plate and where you are?
Yeah, I made some adjustments this offseason, and I think this spring's gone well so far. I feel like I'm, putting the ball in play, limiting swing and miss. Just kind of need to stay there, keep my thoughts simple, and keep moving forward.
A few more weeks left of spring training. What are some goals that you have in mind, some marks that you want to hit before we start the regular season?
I don't know that there's specific marks, but continuing to get to know the pitching staff and their strengths and their personalities, I think will be important moving forward.
All right, Connor, appreciate the time, man. I don't know what you got for lunch back there, but I know you have unlimited capability, so thanks so much for stopping by.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you.
All right, TC. Connor Wong, after 4 innings and another catching start for him with the Red Sox.
All right, Jemai, thanks very much. A walk here to Siri after an error allowed the leadoff hitter, Caminero, to reach safely. And we've got 2 on now. Chris Murphy, a little bit of trouble here in the 6th inning. Yeah, Alex Cora called it a license to eat. Man, I'd like a license to eat.
I miss those days.
Oh, not sure I ever had those days.
A license to work out.
License to try to play for the tie.
Yeah, seriously.
2 on, nobody out now. Jackson, for the 3rd time today. He's 0 for 2 with a couple of pop-outs. Pop out to short, fly ball to right.
This inning so far from Chris Murphy, not a lot of command of that curveball, but he has been throwing it a lot this inning. Clearly working on that. That's something, a 3rd pitch he's really trying to develop. Didn't throw it a ton, threw it 18% last year, but 121 batting average again. It's a good pitch. He just needs to hone it in, get that command with it.
1-1, swing and a miss, strike 2. Red Sox leading 7-4 here. Top of the 6th at JetBlue Park. Fouled off into the netting. Connor Wong, I think, surprised a lot of people last year.
Oh, absolutely. His catch and throw ability behind the plate was near the top of the league.
It's 1.92 second pop time to second base. Was 12th best in Major League Baseball. Jackson able to get out of the way of that one. 2-2 the count. And just a different build. You talk about there aren't a lot of catchers looking to add weight, right? Most guys are big, burly, Carlton Fisk types.
No, but he can receive the ball well. He gets rid of it quick, as you referred to at the pop time at 192. The blocking seemed like it got better as the year went on. There's a lot of the one knee blocking, and then Tech worked on that.
So with a 2-2 count here, Alex Cora is coming out to have a word with Chris Murphy. Trainer coming out as well.
Kind of holding a finger up and looking at it. These guys start throwing in the heat and start sweating, and that's when you start generating blisters this time of spring.
Especially with this kind of humidity. Very humid these last few days down here in Fort Myers.
Yeah, they're
have a conversation and we'll stay out there. Do you ever have blister issues? Not a pitcher, obviously, but...
I wasn't a pitcher, so no, I never had issues with that. In spring training, you get them as a hitter on your hands.
Right.
Just because you're really ramping up your swings by the time you get here. So it'll start callousing over by about now, and then you're good to go for the season.
2-2 pitch, misses outside. And that'll be the back-to-back walks now. And Alex Cora will come out, and that'll end the day. So let's keep an eye on the finger issue if there is an issue, but that'll end the day for Chris Murphy as Alex Cora will come out and take the ball, and we will take a break. Come back with more Red Sox. Facing a bases loaded, nobody. Red Sox Spring Training Baseball on this. It is brought to you by Fubo. Live TV and sports without cable. Try it free at FuboTV.com. And by Sullivan Tire and Auto Service. Always here to get you there. Well, a lot of offense in this one this afternoon. Red Sox holding on to the 7-4 lead. They have out-hit the Rays 10-7. And the new pitcher is Ryan Zefferjon.
Baseball name right there.
Easy for me to say. This pitching change presented by Sullivan Tire and Auto Service. We're always here to get you there. Ryan Zefferjon last year, single A and double A. You see the numbers. A third-round pick in 2019 out of Kansas. Gets ahead 0-2.
In 2016, out of high school, was actually drafted in the 37th round by the Rays.
His first year pro actually had blister issues that prevented him from throwing the breaking ball. Of course, 2020, there was no minor league baseball. Now working his way back up. The 0-2 pitch fouled off.
Another Cape Codder. Thumb it.
Ruben Cardenas at the plate with the bases loaded, nobody out. Zefferjon coming into the jam after Chris Murphy struggled with a couple of walks, an error to lead off the inning, and then back-to-back walks to load the bases. One-two, high pop-up. Bobby Dahlbeck, now the third baseman, gets under it in foul territory to make play. One down here in the sixth.
There we go, just a pitch away now. Throw you a ground ball double play, get out of it.
Put it on the ground.
When Zefferjon was drafted in 2019, Baseball America said he had some of the best stuff in the draft class. Now, we know that doesn't always translate, but he has the stuff. This will be Logan Driscoll at the plate now, taking the number 9 spot. 1-0 from Zefferjon to get a called strike.
Zefferjon hides the ball well. When he goes into that leg kick, kind of turns his body, hides the ball behind him, and then it's on you. It jumps out of his hand.
Inside.
That's 97 on March 5th.
Popped up, Dahlbeck trying to get over there, but that'll come just on the other side of the screen.
Late on the off-speed pitch, that's telling me give him the old number 1 right here, top of the zone, see if he can catch up.
The 2-2 fouled off as Driscoll stays alive. Here's the 2-2 from Zeferjon. Swing and a miss, strike 3. So second out of the inning now. Zeferjon comes into the pitcher's nightmare, the bases loaded, nobody out situation. He's got the first 2 outs.
Yeah, he's showing me nasty stuff. He threw 97. He's got a good breaking ball. This looks like a cutter. This thing starts down the middle and just works down towards that back foot of Driscoll. Just good luck.
Seven to 4, Red Sox leading. 2 outs, bases loaded. Ryan Zeferjon looking to get out of the jam. And he's ahead 0-2. Greg Jones at the plate. There's another trivia question. You ready?
Can't wait.
What name is not on the Tampa Bay roster we have in front of us?
Probably Jones.
Greg Jones. 0-2, the pitch from Zeferjon. Strike 3. He gets out of it.
That a kid.
So Zeferjon comes into the bases loaded, nobody out situation, and gets out of it without giving up a run. Red Sox lead 7-4, heading to the bottom half of the 6th.
What's up, bro?
Good stuff there as we thank Trevor Story for wearing the mic today, sort of taking us along for the ride down at the field level. Red Sox leading bottom half of the 6th. Bobby Dahlbeck leading off against a new pitcher, Phil Maton. became a really important part of that Houston Astros bullpen over the last few years. Signed a free agent deal with the Rays this offseason. Ahead of Dahlbeck 0-2.
Maton's got good stuff. He's actually going to throw his curveball more than he's going to throw his fastball. Throws it nearly 40% of the time, so you're going to see a lot of those. But that's going to make his 89, 90 miles an hour play way up.
You know, it's interesting, too. His primary fastball is now a cutter.
Right.
And if you look at some of the sites that track pitching, some grade him very high, some grade him horribly because they're still calling it a four-seamer and they think it's a bad four-seamer, when in fact he's gone to the cutter as that primary fastball.
And if it grades as a cutter, it actually grades out pretty decently.
Right. Had an interesting interview with David Laurila of Fangraphs. Said it just kind of developed on his own. He said with the cutter, he's a little bit different grip, but he's trying to throw it straight, and it just does what it does, and that's good news.
You know, I had that. I obviously wasn't a pitcher, but I had a natural four seam that would cut. And I don't know if it was the years of throwing a football and it automatically turning my hand. I would automatically cut my four seamer as hard as I would try. I would have to try to sink it to keep it straight.
Maton fouls it back.
Yeah, coming off the bench, if you're Bobby, it's probably not the guy you want to face. Not ideal. And he started him off with like 3 slow breaking balls in a row. Now go to that cutter upstairs.
Strike 3, swing and miss for Dahlbeck, so Maton strikes out Dahlbeck to begin the 6th inning. That'll bring up David Hamilton. Boy, what a job by Severjohn.
Yeah.
Come in with the bases loaded, nobody out. Get the pop out, then the back-to-back strikeouts.
We went to commercial, and I just looked at you and went, that guy is filthy. He is nasty.
Keep an eye on him.
Absolutely.
David Hamilton fouling one off to begin the at-bat. That's what Alex Cora talks a lot about, right? The different buckets of players at spring training. You got guys just getting ready for the season. You got guys trying to make the team. And then you got guys who just want you to put a face to the name. Hamilton, diving effort there at second base. What a play to get Hamilton for the second out of the inning. That is Palacios going full extension of Richie Palacios. Getting the second out of the inning.
That's as nice of a play as you're going to see from a second baseman. Full extension all the way in the 4-hole, shallow right field, pops up. David Hamilton flies. Let's not forget, I know he's just coming into the game, but he gets down the line. You see him hauling there. He pops up, makes the throw to get him out. Heck of a play.
Joe Denand up now. Strike 1 the call. Take another look at that play.
I'll take all the angles of this one. Look at that. Going back. I mean, caught it behind him. Great play. You know, Craig Breslow made it clear earlier as we were talking about the second base situation with Rafaela play there, Valdez, Pablo, and he said, hey, he was quick to say, David Hamilton's one of those guys as well.
And this is Hamilton. 15 game. I'm sorry, Denand. Hamilton was the ball a minute ago. This is Denand. Hamilton, though, with the 15 games up last season, it's the organization minor league defensive player of the year, as Denand will swing and miss there. It's 2-2. But again, we were talking about guys in different roles at spring training. Last year, Hamilton made an impression at spring training, got the opportunity in the regular season. And then to finish the thought on Severjohn, sometimes you just want to be the guy that, whether it's this year or next year, when you need somebody mid-season, Alex Cora's going to think, oh, I remember that guy.
Absolutely. You leave that impression. And that wasn't just a normal outing. You come in with the bases chucked, no outs, and get out of it. He's not going to forget about that.
The 3-2 to Denand. Couldn't hold up. Strike 3 the call. So a 1-2-3 inning for Maton. A little sword to end the 6th. And we head to the 7th now. The Red Sox leading 7-4.
We're here at JetBlue Park. Red Sox on top 7-4 here in the top of the 7th inning. Very happy now to be joined by Red Sox assistant hitting coach Ben Rosenthal. Thanks so much for the time. We certainly appreciate it, man. We don't get to do this enough.
You're right. We don't. Tried it once and didn't go well. After that, it was spring training, so it's fine. We'll let it ride.
All right. That sounds good to me. Well, how did you spend your offseason? What was that like for you?
San Diego. So the weather was beautiful and not as humid as this. We don't get along, me and the humidity. Family time, get home, wife says, here's the keys, here's the schedule, and it's daddy time. Take the kids to school, make breakfast in the morning, take care of myself, work out, pick the kids up from school, take them to practice, a couple vacations, Cabo. I went to National Finals Rodeo, that was pretty cool. Grew up in Vegas, never had gone for whatever reason, ended up going last offseason. It was pretty cool.
Well, listen, everybody's not able, but glad you got a chance to have a little R&R and appreciate some time away from the game. But as you return back to the grind here, you know, you have your core offensive group, but some new additions and obviously some guys pushing to be on the major league roster. What are your impressions of this squad?
I like the group. I like the youngness that we have, the energy. I think everybody's kind of pulling on the same rope right now, which is kind of what we're going for. But the athleticism, the youngness, I think it's good. I think we'll surprise some people.
Had some guys that I spoke with last season who subtly gave a nod to some of the things that you provide. Take us behind the scenes and what kind of preparation do you do to get these guys ready game to game?
Depends on what they need, but it's really just being prepared and ready for what they need. So whether it's the swings, a lot of time inside in the cage, but knowing their swings, knowing when they're good, knowing when they're off, and if it's before the game, trying to make sure steer them in the right direction. If it's during the game, steering them in the right direction. Sometimes less can be more. But yeah, I mean, it's just doing my homework, making sure I'm ready for when they ask. And I think when I do that and they ask, I usually have an answer or I have something for them. And that's just, I mean, that's pretty much it. I just go off of what they need.
Building upon what some of these guys were able to do last year, anybody that you come into this year, like, I'm excited to see this guy take his game to the next level?
I mean, obviously, Jaron coming off an injury, but just watching the growth and his maturity from last year to this year, from every day that he was up with us last year, I'm excited to see him. I'm excited to see him go. It's awesome because he's learning the league, he's learning himself. Ref's in good shape. Trevor's in good shape. I want to see Trevor full off season. He looks good. I mean, they all look, the core of them look good. They look solid. They put in the work. So I'm excited for all of them.
All right, so we're in March now, which means the regular season will begin in this month. What is your objective as you close in on that date?
Just make sure they're ready. Whatever that means for each of them, just make sure they're ready to go when that day comes. Not worrying too much about results here, making sure their process is right, they're good, and then when it's time to go, they're running, they're ready.
All right, Ben, thanks so much for the time. We certainly appreciate it, man. I really do appreciate you coming on with us.
You know how this goes after is going to depend on if I do it again, right?
All right, well, hopefully the results, they also marry with the interviews when we get you. So we'll see what happens as the season goes on. But thanks so much again.
You got it. No problem.
All right, TC. Red Sox assistant hitting coach Ben Rosenthal with us, who is holding his ability to do interviews on what happens on the field. So hopefully there's a lot of good so we can talk to him a lot this year.
No, we'll talk to him no matter what. You tell him we're going to track him down. Doesn't matter what they're doing on the field.
TC says we're tracking you down no matter what. Don't you worry. You cannot escape. No getting away.
Yeah, you hear that? That's fine.
Yeah. He's like, yeah, I'll be hiding in my cage.
I'm excited.
Down there.
That's fine. Brennan Bernardino on the mound here for the Red Sox. This one nubbing foul. Bernardino, of course, last year, just terrific season. A guy who went from a waiver claim, being the best left-handed reliever in the bullpen, the Boston Baseball Writers Association Unsung Hero of the Year. 41 of his 55 outings were scoreless last year. And things I did not expect to say here in spring training. I had a fascinating conversation the other night with Brennan Bernardino and Boston Pop's conductor, Keith Lockhart.
I would have never put those
Three of
groups
us had a great conversation. Lockhart, of course, was brought in by Alex Cora to talk to the team. And Bernardino said he was really impressed with the message about not only being your best, whether you're a musician or a baseball player, but about helping those around you be better. We'll talk more about that when we come back. 1-2-3 inning for Bernardino. We head to the bottom of the 7th with the Red Sox leading 7-4.
Replica jerseys and kids run the bases. Get your tickets by visiting redsox.com/promos.
All right, welcome you back to Fort Myers. Warm afternoon here in Southwest Florida. Red Sox leading 7-4. We were talking about it before we went to break. Keith Lockhart, the great conductor of the Boston Pops, was brought in to talk to the team today. And you'd be like, you know, that's a cool idea, right? Hearing an outside voice and a guy who deals with elite musicians, some of the best in the world at what they do. And I talked to Keith the other night, and Keith said, you know, I thought I'd get a bunch of glazed looks and just have a quick talk and leave. He goes, the guys were really into it. And of course, there were several guys who really got into it. Kenley Jansen was the one who sort of stepped up and got a hit batter to start the inning here. Not the ideal way to get it started. Nick York will take the painful trip to first, as Jason Adam will hit the first batter he faces. And Nick Sogard now will step up. But to finish that, he said, you know, a musician himself. Kelsey plays the guitar. Kenley plays the guitar, Kenley Jansen. And you know, really got into the instrument stuff of it, but the talk was about how musicians, like baseball players, have to be repetitive and constantly work on the fundamentals and constantly make sure, as we get a long fly ball here from Nick Sogard, that'll go back towards the wall, but the catch will be made there by Hulsizer, and York will have to retreat. So Nick Sogard hit a long home run about a week ago.
He's been barreling everything this spring. Everything. He's been swinging a really good bat.
But just to finish that thought, he was really impressed, Lockhart was, by the engagement that the players show, the understanding, because the message was basically what I said before. You all have done everything you can do to make yourself the best you can be. That's why you're a major leaguer. Now, how much time are you putting in not only to make yourself the best, but to make the people around you the best? He said, because in a symphony, in the Pops, I can't have 85 people doing their own thing. Everyone's got to be in concert to come together. And you do that by working together. It seems a simple message, but it really resonates.
Yeah, and you know, in that same breath, you have to master your job first. I feel like before you're able to help everyone around you. But I think that's the point, is putting the time in, the reps, and mastering your own job, so you can then focus on making everyone else around you better. That's good, because it's normally like Marines, Navy SEALs, and then you bring that in, it's completely different speed, but it's really the same message.
Corey Rosier at the plate. Take a timeout here. He'll step out of the box. Nick Sogard driving one to right field for the first out of the inning. I told you Jason Adam on the mound now. Adam last season, 56 appearances with the Tampa Bay Rays. Ground ball up quickly with it as Palacios couldn't get the double play, but he gets the lead runner. Good speed out of the box from Rosier. It's 2 outs now in the 7th.
Yeah, Jason Adams, he's one of their dudes, like their go-to late inning guys. Leverage arms. He's going to throw a ton of changeups, has a good fastball, slider, everything about 30 to 35% mix. But he is one of their main guys that they will go to.
Yeah, Pete Fairbanks is going to be the closer of the team, but this guy will get saves. He will be brought in when Fairbanks is overused or unavailable, or if there's any injuries. He pitched the World Baseball Classic last year, Jason Adam did. If you remember the Japanese game, the championship game, he walked the bases loaded but got out of the inning scoreless.
That's right. Good memory.
2 outs here as Adam tries to get through a scoreless 7th inning. Nathan Hickey takes the pitch. There's the 1-0 inside. Red Sox trying to pick up their 8th win of the Grapefruit League season. Game tomorrow at Minnesota across town. Runner goes here, and sliding in safely with a stolen base is Corey Rosier.
A good opportunity to get a jump here. Jason Adam going to a full leg lift, 0 slide step that entire at bat, so he knew he could get a good jump.
Here's the 3-1. Ground ball, second base. Palacios up with it, and he'll get Hickey to end the inning. We head to the 8th at JetBlue Park. Red Sox leading the Rays 7-4.
Lucas Giolito dealing with some discomfort in his elbow. He told us that pitchers seem to experience that sort of thing throughout the year, but having this after his last spring training start, he said it raised some alarm bells. Here's Giolito now on what it's been like dealing with this.
Yeah, extremely disappointing. I've always prided myself on posting, staying healthy. You know, I've done everything in my power to do so. No, I haven't dealt with a serious injury in a very long time, so definitely sucks a lot.
Does what you know now lead you to be optimistic about your availability for this year, or are you still waiting and seeing?
Yeah, we're still trying to figure out the next steps of everything. Obviously, it's early and stuff's happening in real time. So, yeah, we're working through all that right now.
And guys, you had Craig Breslow in there earlier. I asked him about his level of optimism for Giolito's availability. He said anytime you go through a process like this, it's wise to be tempered. But his sense is this is a real injury, so they could be missing him for a long time.
Yeah, thanks, Jemai. The report's coming out. ESPN's Jeff Passan reporting that there could be a tear in the UCL, which usually would lead to surgery, which often means you lose the season.
Right.
And as you pointed out earlier, Will, you have him under control for next year, so, you know, the debate becomes, do you try to get through this, see if you can get him back, but then if you can't, now you've lost precious rehab months for next year, or do you go quickly to the surgery to get him back as quick as you can next year?
Yeah, obviously you'll get other opinions, second opinions, maybe a third opinion, and options there always. Can you go PRP? Can you go rehab, get this thing back? But I feel like more times than not, it ends up ending in surgery. And if you do want him to be able to contribute in the 2025 season in the second half, if all of the rehab goes according to plan, the sooner the better for the surgery, which you never want to have to get Tommy John. Jeez, especially a second one. But if you do rehab this and push this down the road, trying to get him into games this year, and then mid-season have to get surgery, now you're looking at losing him for 2 seasons.
Sixth pitcher of the day on for the Red Sox. It's Jorge Benitez facing CJ Hinojosa to lead off the 8th. Lefty delivers. Hinojosa fouls it off. Benitez, the native of San Juan, Puerto Rico, has been working on a cutter with Andrew Bailey, trying to help with the right-handed hitters he faced last year. At a 169 batting average against lefties, or they had against him, and a 304 batting average against him for righties. Nice diving stop there, but that'll be a base hit. Good effort by Hamilton, able to knock it down, keep it in front of him, no chance for a play. So a leadoff single now for Hinojosa here in the 8th.
And nice baseball play all around. This ball's absolutely smoked to Hamilton at second base. He gets a good jump on it, makes a good dive. Looks like it catches him in the palm of his glove, and sometimes when that happens, the ball just pops right out, especially when you're diving, landing on the ground. Great effort there.
That'll bring up Cameron Misner with 1 on and nobody out here in the 8th inning.
You get a chance to see Kevin Cash today?
I did not.
No.
That was the plan. I usually try to get down and talk to him. One of my favorite people in baseball to talk to. But with the breaking Giolito news and the demands of the network for us to cover the breaking news, that was not an option.
Had to put Cashy on the back burner today.
Oh, we'll see him plenty. We play 13 times.
Yeah.
I'll catch up with him in the Dominican this weekend.
I have a funny, my only Kevin Cash story. 2008 I was drafted in 07, so 08 was my first spring training. He came to the Sox in 07. 08 was with the team. Mike Stelmack, who was our clubhouse manager on the minor league side, would give out extra bats from big leaguers that they left behind from spring training, and I got a half a dozen Kevin Cash Louisville Sluggers, and I was so excited. I had my big league bats. I took it out to the cage. We're hitting off the machine. Second swing, I snapped one of them in half. I still have 3 of them at my parents' house in Texas because I was so scared. I was like, I don't want to keep breaking these bats.
Keep breaking the
I used a couple
bats.
more, and then I kept 3 of them just 'cause I thought it was so cool.
Hard to believe he's now entering his 10th season as manager of the Tampa Bay Rays. Benitez, by the way, getting the strikeout of Misner. Kenny Piper now at the plate. The 10 years makes Kevin Cash the longest tenured manager in Major League Baseball with his current club. Take a look at that. Back to 2014. In fact, when he manages opening day, he will surpass Joe Madden.
Wow.
And he is just 16 wins shy of overtaking Madden as the all-time wins leader in Rays history.
I mean, he's had so much success. And I mean, you know, I do predictions in the offseason, and we start looking at rosters, and I think the last 4 years in a row, I look at the Rays and I say, this is the year they underperform. And every year they're in the mix.
Back-to-back strikeouts here for Benitez. 2 down in the 8th. We used to have a running joke with Dennis Eckersley be every year. And this is when, talk about 2008 when they went to the World Series. Yeah, I'm not buying the Rays.
Never, right?
I'm not buying them.
You look at the
year.
roster and you're like, no shot. They're going to compete with the Yankees, the Sox, the Orioles. It's like, yet these guys that you haven't heard of yet, but they're starting to fill the roster with more and more guys that are making themselves important. The Fairbanks, they start to put together a rotation. You lose Glasnow, that hurts.
Sure.
You lose Wander Franco, that hurts.
But how many have they lost? How many guys have? No, but they have.
Thing is,
there's no team better at moving a guy at the right time and replacing
100%.
him with somebody who's just entering his prime.
It's almost like they have these certain arms they like to use, but they overuse them. They blow out, and then they just bring in someone else.
But you think of the quality pitchers that have left Tampa Bay, and somehow Tampa Bay continues to thrive. 99 wins last year. Second only to Baltimore in the American League. So for the Rays, of course, they play in the same division. Remember the start they got off to last year?
Oh, my gosh. That offense?
22-6 at the end of April.
They plateaued out there a little bit. But, yeah, that start was historic.
One of the best bullpens in baseball again last year, and that's one of the things Cash does so well. Managing that bullpen, using openers when he needs to, bulk guys to get you through middle innings.
It's like they just have the equation. And it's not even just talking about the bullpen. It's their scouting department. It's their development system. The guys they draft, the guys they pick up off free agency who you would think are done, or they're just, they're done being at least impact big leaguers, and then they teach pitching here well. It's kind of like the Dodgers, the way they go about their arms.
Here's the 2-2. Benitez misses outside. Count will be full.
3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs.
Cash has been a Manager of the Year finalist 5 times. In the last 6 seasons, ground ball, second base, Hamilton up with it. And that'll end the inning. A scoreless inning for Benitez. And we head to the bottom of the 8th with the Red Sox leading 7-4. back here at JetBlue Park. Tom Caron and Will Middlebrooks with you. Red Sox leading 7-4. Here in the bottom of the 8th. Mark Contreras leading off. Red Sox got a 2-run home run from Tyler O'Neill. Also had an RBI double. And Manuel Valdez, RBI single, RBI triple, RBI double. His bat got hot. Garrett Clevenger now is the 6th pitcher of the game for Kevin Cash. Clevenger made 15 appearances as he will hit Contreras in the hand. And they will be out quickly to look at him.
Did he have a guard on? It looked like he had a guard on his hand. It's hard to tell. It didn't sound like it hit a guard.
No, yeah. Maybe just under it or on the edge of it, but he seems okay.
Yeah.
Hands off the gear.
Hopefully that's not just
Up the
adrenaline
line.
acting and it's just didn't catch him all the way clean on that hand. Scary moment anytime anything's up and in, but yeah, I think he got a little further up on the wrist than the hand, which is still not good, but better than on top of the hand.
You remember Contreras began this whole thing this spring with a 3-run home run against Northeastern University. Then a home run the next day against Baltimore Orioles. Good way to start camp. Cedar Rafaela, meantime, came in for Jaron Duran. Duran left the game a little earlier maybe than expected.
Yeah.
Is anything to that?
I didn't notice anything. I didn't notice a play or anything where I'm thinking, okay, he's hurting, but I don't know. I don't really have an answer on that.
It's the 1-1. Rafael able to get out of the way of that. Let's take a look at this, however. This is Jaron Duran, who came out of the game earlier today, and you know, come back with a toe injury. We saw him sort of kind of stretching. You see it right there a little bit. It looks like a guy's feeling a little bit of discomfort or something.
You know, early in the game he had a foul ball off his foot, but it was his front foot.
Ground ball, scooped up at short, flipped nicely, and that's a 6-4-3 double play. Jones got it started, and Palacios turned it nicely.
Yeah, that was a big league double play right there. Ball hit well up the middle. Good first step on it to get there, number one, catch the ball, but then the backhand flip, that's not an easy play to make on the run, and then the quick turn. Nice play.
2 down now, nobody on for Bobby Dahlbeck. Dahlbeck with 33 home runs last season with the Woo Sox, had to get out of the way of that.
You know, Bobby's handled this whole situation like such a pro. You know, it hadn't been ideal. He struggled at the big league level. Stopped getting opportunities. Obviously spent majority of the season in Worcester, and just from all the guys I talked to down there, he just carried himself in the right way. He helped the young guys. He stayed the course. He kept working hard when it could have been really easy to pack it in.
And the crowd comes to life with the chant of Bobby here at JetBlue Park. He had a home run last year for the Woo Sox that collided with a train on the tracks coming out of Union Station. Second time that's ever happened. But the home run was beyond the limits of TrackMan as he lines this to short, and Jones make the catch. They couldn't estimate the distance.
He broke stat.
He broke StatCast.
500-footer.
Head to the 9th. 7-4. together. Let's drive.
Yeah, I mean, this was so good to see from Tyler O'Neill. You're hoping you get a healthy season and showing some of that power. Those 34 homers we saw in 2021, gets a good piece of one here, hanging breaking ball, hits it a long ways, and then seeing him hit the double as well. He just looks so good at the plate right now, balanced, seeing the ball well. Just got to hope he gets back to that 2021 form.
And we're back here for the 9th inning. One pitch, one out as Hamilton will scoop that up. Noah Song coming in. Today's game presented by Fubo. Stream New England sports and more on NESN with Fubo. Try it free at FuboTV.com. Noah Song, what a long journey it has been for him. 4th round pick in 2019 out of the U.S. Naval Academy. Had to go and report for duty. Pro debut in 2019 with the Lowell Spinners. He pitched brilliantly, a 1.06 ERA, but was called to duty with the Navy and spent the next 4 years completing flight school commitments. Then in 2022, as he was waiting for his waiver appeal to be decided upon, Philadelphia Phillies scooped in and took him in the Rule 5 draft. Red Sox hadn't put him on the 40-man roster. He was serving in the Navy. And so he went to Philadelphia. You have to stay on the Major League roster if you're a Rule 5 pick. Injuries, tweaked his back, rehabbed in the minors, but they couldn't get him ramped up on the Major League roster quick enough. Returned to the Red Sox. And here he is. Really interesting guy to watch this spring. It's Noah Song now. We'll have a quick conversation.
That's all the makings of a good movie one day. Just finish it up, get to the big leagues. It's really cool.
Like, his music, if he was ever close, it should be like the Top Gun theme.
It's gotta be, right? It's gotta be, it's gotta be.
Kenny Loggins cranking out. Nathan Hickey back behind the plate. Noah Song, the 1-2, down in the dirt. 26 years old now, out of Pomona, California. Last year, as you'd expect, you don't play for 4 years, you're not going to be your sharpest.
Right.
And he was dealing with the injuries, the back issue. Foul tip.
Yeah, I'd love to see him get a clean inning here. His last outing this spring was a tough one as well.
Another one down in the dirt, and it'll be a full count. He got the word that his appeal had been approved for the waiver to go play baseball. Literally at the last minute, he was getting ready to leave for a training mission. That's like what they call a no-contact training mission. You were going to go in survival training skills with no contact from the outside world. You go in for whatever amount of time. Imagine being fully prepared for that. And then you get the call and say you can go play baseball.
I don't know. I can't even imagine what you would feel, right? You're just so mentally bought into where you are, where your feet are, serving the country. I don't know.
And the amazing thing is, anybody around him, everyone who's talked to him, is he has handled, there was never any chip on his shoulder, never any, I didn't get my opportunity. You know, he committed to the Navy, right. Went to the Naval Academy, said, this is my duty, and he gets the swing and a miss. Strike 3, second out of the inning, 2 outs in the 9th now. Don't forget tonight, the Bruins go head-to-head with Connor McDavid and the Oilers. Catch pregame coverage starting at 6:30. They drop the puck at 7:30, only on NESN. What a win over the Maple Leafs last night. The boys are back. You don't speak the language, but you can appreciate a great win over the Maple Leafs.
Of course,
yeah.
Of course. I dial into hockey more in the postseason. I'll be honest.
But the Stanley Cup playoffs are unmatched,
especially in person.
The length of the intensity, the two teams going at it head-to-head for 2 weeks.
The game 1 against the Panthers last year, the Garden. That was fun.
High pop-up. Someone will get there, and it's the third baseman, Dahlbeck. So a 1-2-3 ninth inning for Noah Song to nail it down. He'll get the save, and the Red Sox will get the win as they beat the Tampa Bay Rays 7-4.
Yeah, Whitlaw looked good. I thought he had his fastball and the slider working. The changeup, as we heard from him and from Connor Wong, got up in the zone a little bit. He wants to work that down below the zone for swing and miss. But Trevor Story, a couple stolen bases. Nog, O'Neill, obviously 3 RBIs. Valdez 3 for 3. A lot of positives on the offensive side.
Good stuff today. Spring training continues Saturday as the Red Sox face the Tampa Bay Rays. We will come to you from the Dominican Republic as part of the 2024 Major League Baseball World Tour. Our coverage begins at 5 right here on NESN. It's presented by Fubo. For Will Middlebrooks, Jemai Webster, our entire NESN crew working hard behind the scenes, I'm Tom Karen. Thanks so much for watching. Final score for the final time here in Fort Myers. Red Sox 7, Rays 4.
Why pay too much for cable